Her voice was small when she spoke. I don't have a place anymore. White Sky looked at her wound and then at her tired eyes. He saw more than pain. He saw a story that had not yet been told. You can rest, he said. The land does not turn away those who need it. He took off his outer cloth and slowly placed it near her. After a moment of thought, she pulled it around her shoulders. The warmth made her feel less alone. White Sky stood up and offered his hand. Not too close, not too far. She stared at it for a long moment. Then she reached out and held it. His hand was strong but gentle. He helped her stand, and she leaned on him as they walked. His village was not far. Small lodges stood in a circle, and smoke rose from cooking fires. Children played near the center, and elders sat in the shade, talking softly. When they saw the chief return with a girl, the people grew quiet. They watched, but they did not speak. White Sky led her to his lodge. Inside it was warm and simple. He helped her sit near the fire and brought her water. Drink slowly, he said. She obeyed. The water felt like life returning to her body. White Sky used clean cloth and herbs to tend her wound. His hands moved carefully like he had done this many times before. She did not pull away. Something about his calm made her trust him. What is your name? He asked. Lena, she answered. He nodded. Lena, the wind brought you here for a reason. She did not know what that reason was, but she felt, for the first time in many days, that she did not have to run. As the fire cracked softly, Lena told him small pieces of her story. Her tribe had feared her dreams. She spoke of signs she saw in the sky and in the water. Some people thought she brought bad luck. One night, they told her to leave and never return. White Sky listened without stopping her. He did not judge. He did not interrupt. Sometimes, he said when she finished, people fear what they do not understand. Lena looked at the fire. I only wanted to help. You still can, he said. Outside, the sun moved lower. The sky turned gold and red. The village began to glow in the evening light. White Sky gave her a small bowl of warm food. She ate slowly, each bite making her stronger. Stay tonight, he said. Tomorrow can wait, Lena nodded. Her eyes grew heavy. White Sky placed a soft blanket near the fire and stepped back. He did not stay close. He gave her space. As Lena closed her eyes, she felt something she had not felt in a long time. Peace. White Sky stepped outside and looked at the sky. The stars began to appear, one by one. He did not know why the wind had brought Lena to him. But deep inside, he felt that this meeting would change more than just one life. The land was quiet again, but a new story had begun. Morning light entered the lodge softly, like a gentle visitor that did not want to wake anyone too fast. The fire from the night before had turned into warm, glowing coals. Lena opened her eyes and listened. She could hear birds outside and the quiet sound of the wind moving through the grass. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered the calm voice of White Sky and the warm blanket around her. She sat up slowly. Her arms still hurt a little, but it felt much better than before. Outside, the village was already awake. White Sky was standing near a small cooking fire. He was preparing tea made from herbs and roots. When he saw Lena step outside, he gave a small nod. You slept, he said. Lena nodded. I did. Thank you. He handed her a small cup. This will help you feel strong. She took it carefully and drank. The taste was strange, but warm and comforting. The village moved around them. Children ran past, laughing. Elders spoke in quiet voices. Women prepared food and hung cloth in the sunlight. Lena watched everything like someone seeing a new world. White Sky did not speak much. He did not need to. His presence alone made the space around him feel steady, like a tree that does not move even when the wind is strong. After a while, he pointed toward the open land beyond the village. "Walk with me," he said. Lena hesitated. "I don't want to cause trouble." White Sky looked at her. "You are not trouble. You are a guest." They walked together across the grass. The land stretched far and wide. The sky felt bigger than anything Lena had ever known. White Sky showed her small plants near the ground. "These help with pain," he said. "These help with sleep." Lena listened closely. She touched the leaves and tried to remember their shapes and smells. "My mother taught me things like this," Lena said softly. White Sky nodded. "The land remembers those who listen to it." They reached a small hill that looked over the village. From there, everything looked peaceful and quiet. They sat down. Lena felt brave enough to speak again. "Why do you live alone?" White Sky did not answer right away. He watched the clouds move. "I had a family," he said finally, "a long time ago." Lena did not push him to say more. She waited. "They are part of the land now," he continued. "Since then, I find peace in quiet." Lena felt sadness in his words, but also strength. "I think," she said, "quiet can be loud too. It makes you hear your own heart." White Sky looked at her, surprised. Then, for the first time, a small smile touched his face. As they walked back, Lena saw people watching them. Not with anger, not with fear, with curiosity. An elder woman stepped forward. "You are the girl from the wind," the woman said. Lena did not know what to say. The woman placed a small woven band in Lena's hand. "You are welcome here." Lena felt something warm rise in her chest. It was not just relief. It was hope. Later that day, Lena helped carry water and prepare food. She was slow, but no one rushed her. Children followed her and asked her questions. "Where did you come from?" one asked. "From far away," Lena said. "Will you stay?" another asked. Lena looked toward White Sky, who stood nearby. "I don't know yet," she said honestly. As the sun moved lower, the sky turned soft colors of orange and pink. White Sky and Lena sat near the fire again. "Why did you help me?" Lena asked. White Sky thought for a moment. "Because the land helped me once. I learned to return the gift." Lena nodded. That night, Lena dreamed. She saw herself walking on the plains, but she was not alone. White Sky walked beside her. Behind them, others followed. They were not running. They were not lost. They were calm and steady. When she woke, her heart felt light. The next morning, she began to learn more. White Sky showed her how to listen to the wind, how to watch the birds, how to feel when the land was tired and when it was strong. "You don't need to speak to understand," he said. "You need to pay attention." Lena practiced. Sometimes she made mistakes. Sometimes she laughed. White Sky did not correct her with anger. He waited and let her try again. Days passed. Lina grew stronger. Her wound healed, Her steps became steady. One evening, as the stars came out, Lena spoke softly. "White Sky is not your true name, is it?" He looked at her, surprised again. "My true name is only for those who listen with their heart," he said. "I listen," Lena replied. After a long moment, he told her. She said the name carefully, like it was something precious. White Sky felt something change inside him. The lonely space he had carried for years felt smaller. The wind moved through the grass, and for the first time in a long while, White Sky did not feel alone in the world. The morning began like many others. The sky was pale blue, and soft clouds moved slowly across it. Lena was near the edge of the village, helping an elder woman clean herbs. Her hands worked, but her mind felt far away. She had started to feel like she belonged here, and that feeling both comforted and scared her. White Sky stood a short distance away, watching the horizon. He often did this, not because he expected trouble, but because he believed the land always spoke before something changed. That morning, the land felt different. The wind slowed. The birds flew higher than usual. White Sky narrowed his eyes and pointed toward the far edge of the plains. Lena followed his gaze. Small figures moved in the distance. Her heart began to beat faster. She knew them. "They are from my tribe," she whispered. White Sky did not move closer to her, but he stepped slightly in front of her. "They walk, not run," he said calmly. "That means they come to speak, not to harm." The village slowly became aware of the visitors. People stood in quiet lines. No one shouted. No one showed fear. The air was filled with waiting. When the group arrived, Lena recognized faces from her past. Some looked unsure. Some looked tired. One woman she remembered as kind now avoided her eyes. An older man stepped forward. His hair was gray and his voice was rough, but not angry. "Lena," he said, "we came to find you." Lena felt her legs shake, but she stood tall. "You told me to leave," she said. The man looked down. "We were afraid. The signs you spoke of, the dreams you shared, we did not understand them." White Sky spoke then, his voice steady like the ground beneath their feet. "Fear grows when people stop listening," he said. The man nodded slowly. "We came to ask you to return," he said to Lena. "Our land feels empty without your voice." Lena looked at the village behind her. She saw children who had laughed with her, elders who had welcomed her. She saw White Sky, standing quiet and strong. Her chest felt full. "I ran once because I was scared," Lena said. "I will not run again." She took a small step forward. "I am not just the girl who dreams," she continued. "I am someone who learned to listen, to help, to stand." The people from her tribe listened. Some nodded. Some wiped their eyes. White Sky placed a hand on the ground. "The land does not belong to us," he said. "We belong to the land. If she walks here or there, her roots go with her." Silence followed his words. The older man took a deep breath. "Will you visit us?" he asked Lena. Lena thought for a moment. "Yes," she said, "but I will not leave who I have become." The man smiled, small and real. They shared food together under the open sky. No one argued. No one blamed. Stories were told instead. Later, as the visitors prepared to leave, Lena stood beside White Sky. "Thank you," she said. He nodded. You spoke for yourself. I only stood with you. That evening, Lena felt tired, but in a good way. Her heart felt lighter. She and White Sky walked to the hill above the village. I was afraid, Lena admitted. I thought I might lose this place. White Sky looked at the stars beginning to show. Places do not leave us, he said. We carry them inside. Lena smiled. The days that followed were peaceful. Lena began helping more in the village. She taught children how to watch clouds and guess the weather. She helped elders remember old stories. White Sky watched her from a distance, quiet and proud. One afternoon, Lena found White Sky sitting by the stream where they first met. Do you come here often? She asked. Yes, he said. It reminds me that every beginning starts small. Lena sat beside him. I think my beginning started here, she said. White Sky nodded. The wind passed over the water, making soft ripples. I used to believe I was meant to walk alone, White Sky said. Now, I believe I was meant to walk beside someone. That night, the village held a small gathering. There was gentle music and quiet laughter. No one danced wildly. It was calm, like everything else in this place. Lena stood near the fire. An elder spoke. Some people find their path by running, the elder said. Some find it by standing still. Lena found hers by listening. White Sky looked at Lena. Lena looked back. The firelight reflected in their eyes. The past had come looking for Lena, but it did not take her away. It only showed her how far she had come. The wind moved through the grass once more. And this time, it carried not loss, but belonging. The seasons began to change. The tall grass turned from bright green to soft gold. The air grew cooler, and the sky seemed whiter than ever. Lena stood near the edge of the village and watched the clouds move slowly across the open land. She felt different now. Stronger, calmer, like the wind had finally found a place to rest inside her. White Sky walked toward her, carrying a small bundle of wood. You look like you are listening again, he said. Lena smiled. The land always has something to say. They walked together toward the center of the village. Children followed them, asking questions and laughing. Lena answered with patience, just like White Sky had taught her. An elder woman called Lena over. Will you help me today? She asked. Of course, Lena replied. She spent the morning helping prepare food and sort herbs. She listened to stories from the elders, stories about long journeys, lost friends, and found hope. Lena did not rush them. She knew now that every story needed space to breathe. White Sky watched from a distance. He did not step in. He did not guide. He trusted her. Later, Lena visited the small hill above the village. From there, she could see the open plains stretching far into the distance. She remembered the girl who had once laid near the stream, tired and afraid. She barely recognized her. White Sky joined her on the hill. Do you ever think about leaving? He asked gently. Lena thought for a moment. I think about traveling, she said, but not about running. White Sky nodded. The land is wide. It welcomes those who walk with respect. That afternoon, visitors came from nearby villages. They brought small gifts, woven cloth, dried food, and kind words. They had heard of the girl who listened to the wind and the chief who spoke in silence. Lena felt shy at first, but she spoke with them. She told them what she had learned. Listen before you speak, she said. Watch before you act. The land will show you what you need. White Sky stood nearby, his eyes calm and proud. As the sun moved lower, the village gathered near the fire. The sky turned deep orange and soft purple. The air felt warm, even as the night grew closer. An elder stood and raised a hand. "Tonight," the elder said, "we honor not a great battle or a great hunt, but a great kindness." The people grew quiet. "We honor the chief who opened his home," the elder continued, "and the girl who opened her heart." White Sky lowered his head. The fire cracked softly. Music began, slow and gentle. Some people stood and moved in simple steps. Others sat and watched the stars appear one by one. Lena and White Sky walked away from the fire and toward the open plains. The night sky was clear. The stars looked close enough to touch. "Do you know what your name means?" White Sky asked. Lena shook her head. "It means light," he said. "A small light can guide many." Lena looked at him. "And your true name?" she asked. "It means the one who stands." Lena nodded. "You stood when I could not." White Sky looked at the land around them. "I stood because I was not meant to stand alone," he said. They walked in silence for a while, listening to the wind and the soft sounds of the night. Lena stopped near the place where the stream curved through the grass. "This is where everything began," she said. White Sky nodded. "This is where the wind brought you," he replied. Lena bent down and touched the water. "I used to think being chosen meant being different in a lonely way," she said. "Now I think it means being different in a way that helps others." White Sky watched the water move past her fingers. "Helping others helps us find ourselves," he said. Time passed. Lena began traveling to nearby villages, sometimes alone, sometimes with White Sky. She shared stories, helped heal small worries, and listened to people who felt lost. White Sky remained the quiet center of his village, but he was no longer known as the lonely chief. He was known as the chief who built a home for hearts, not just for people. One evening, Lena returned from a journey. White Sky was waiting near the fire. "You always come back," he said. Lena smiled. "Because this is where my world is." White Sky looked at her, and something deep and steady passed between them. The wind moved through the grass, carrying the smell of the land and the sound of distant laughter. They walked to the hill one last time. The sun was setting, painting the sky in gold and red. White Sky spoke softly. "I once thought my world was gone," he said. "Now I see it standing beside me." Lina felt her heart grow full. They stood together, watching the land stretch endlessly before them. The wind did not forget them. The land did not let them go. And their story did not end. It became part of the quiet legends of the plains. Not a story of force or fear, but a story of kindness, listening, and a world built by simply standing together. The season began to change. The mornings felt cooler, and the evenings carried a soft bite in the air. The grass on the plains turned from bright green to warm gold, like the land was dressing itself in sunlight. The village moved with the season, calm and prepared, as if it had done this 1,000 times. Lena noticed the changes first in small ways. Smoke rose earlier from the cooking fires. Children wore thicker cloth. Elders sat closer to the warm places and spoke in slower, thoughtful voices. Lena had been in the village long enough now that people did not look at her as a stranger. They called her name without hesitation. They asked for her help. They trusted her, and for Lena that trust was like water to a dry heart. One morning, Lena walked with White Sky to gather wood near the edge of the trees. The air smelled clean, and the sky was clear. White Sky carried a bundle of branches with ease. Lena carried a smaller bundle, but she did not complain. Her strength had returned. Her steps were sure. As they walked, Lena saw an old woman sitting alone on a rock, her shoulders bent forward. The woman's face looked tired. Lena slowed. "She looks sad," Lena said. White Sky followed her gaze. Her son left to live with another group. She misses him. Lena thought for a moment. Then she walked over to the old woman. "Grandmother," Lena said gently, using the respectful word the village children used. The old woman looked up with dull eyes. Lena sat beside her without asking. She did not try to fix the woman's sadness right away. She simply sat. After a while, Lena spoke. "When the wind is cold, we don't fight it. We wrap ourselves and wait. Maybe sadness is like that too." The old woman's eyes softened. Lena continued, "If you want, I can sit with you again tomorrow. Or I can bring tea. Or we can tell stories. You don't have to carry the quiet alone." The old woman's lips trembled. Then she nodded. White Sky watched from a distance. He did not interfere. He did not take control of the moment. He only noticed something important. Lena was not just healing. She was helping others heal. That afternoon, White Sky visited the Elder Circle. He did not go there often unless the village needed a decision. The elders welcomed him with calm faces. One elder spoke first. "The girl you brought to us has become a steady light." White Sky did not answer with pride. He simply said, "She chose her own path." Another elder nodded. "Still, it began when you picked her up from the land." His eyes carried memories. That night, he sat outside his lodge. The stars filled the sky. The fire beside him was small and quiet. Lena joined him and sat at a respectful distance. They stayed silent for a while. Then Lena spoke. "The people from my old tribe sent a message today." White Sky turned his head slightly. "What did they say?" "They asked if I would come for a visit when the next moon is full," Lena said. White Sky nodded once. "And what do you want?" Lena took a deep breath. "I want to go. Not because I miss how they treated me, but because I want to show them who I am now." White Sky's voice was calm. "Then you should go." Lena looked at him. "Will you be angry if I leave for a time?" White Sky's eyes held steady warmth. "I will not be angry. A bird cannot be loved by being caged." Lena felt emotion rise in her throat. "You always speak like you understand everything." White Sky gave a small, rare smile. "I do not understand everything. I only try to listen." In the days before the full moon, Lena prepared for her visit. She helped with daily work, but she also spent time with elders, learning words and stories she wanted to carry with her. Some people in the village offered her small gifts for the journey: warm cloth, dried food, and simple charms made of beads. "You are one of us," a young mother told her, "even if you travel." Lena thanked her, feeling both happy and nervous. On the morning of the full moon, White Sky walked with Lena to the open path that led away from the village. He did not bring many people with him. He did not make a big moment. He kept it simple. Lena held her small bag close. "Are you ready?" White Sky asked. Lena nodded. "Yes." He looked at her carefully, as if he wanted to memorize the moment. "Remember," he said, "you do not need their approval to be whole." Lena smiled. "I learned that here." Then she hesitated. Will you still be here when I return? White Sky's voice was soft. This is my home, and you have become part of it. Lena's eyes shone. She wanted to say many things, but she could not find the right words, so she simply said, Thank you. White Sky nodded, and Lena began walking. As Lena traveled, she felt the land speaking to her in small signs, the shape of clouds, the call of birds, the feel of wind. She no longer saw the world as a place that could throw her away. She saw it as a place she could understand. When she reached her old tribe, they greeted her with quiet respect. The same people who once avoided her eyes now watched her with something new. Not fear, curiosity. Lena spoke with elders and young people. She did not shame them. She did not demand apologies. She simply told them what she had learned. She taught them small things, how to use certain herbs, how to listen to the land before panic grows, how to sit with someone who is hurting without trying to control them. Some people cried. Some smiled. Some stayed silent. But the village listened. After 3 days, Lena returned. As she came closer to White Sky's village, she saw smoke rising from the familiar fires. She heard laughter. She felt relief. White Sky stood at the edge of the village when she arrived. He did not run toward her. He did not call out loudly. He simply stood, waiting, like the steady sky. Lena walked up to him, her eyes bright. You came back, he said. I told you I would, Lena replied. They stood for a moment, and the space between them felt full of unspoken words. That evening, the village held a small welcome gathering. There was food, warm tea, and gentle songs. Children asked Lena about her journey. Were you scared? A child asked. A little, Lena admitted. But I remembered I was not alone. She looked at White Sky when she said it. Later, when the fire burned low and the village grew quiet, Lena and White Sky returned to the hill above the lodges. The full moon hung in the sky like a bright promise. The plains stretched far, endless and calm. Lena spoke softly. When you found me, I thought I was nothing. I thought I was broken. White Sky looked at her. You were wounded, he said. But you were never nothing. Lena's voice shook slightly. You made me your world. White Sky did not answer right away. He watched the moon. Then he said, I did not make you my world by holding you. I made you my world by choosing you every day. Lena felt tears rise, not from pain, but from love and gratitude. White Sky continued, and you did the same. You returned life to a place in me that had been quiet for too long. The wind passed over the hill, soft and steady. Below them, the village rested peacefully. Lena and White Sky sat side by side. Not as a man who saved a girl, not as a girl who needed saving, but as two people who found belonging in each other and in the land. The story of the abandoned maiden did not end with sorrow. It ended with a new beginning. And in the quiet of the plains, under the full moon, White Sky understood something clear. He was no longer the lonely chief, because the world he chose to keep had chosen him too. The tribal maiden was abandoned and wounded until a lonely Lakota chief made her his world. The sun rose slowly over the wide open plains. Soft light touched the tall grass, and the wind moved through it like a quiet song. The land felt old and wise, as if it had seen many stories begin and end. Birds flew low across the sky, and the world felt calm, but somewhere near a small stream, a young girl lay alone. She was a tribal maiden no older than 17 summers. Her clothes were torn from long travel, and her feet were sore from walking too far without rest. A small wound marked her arm, not deep, but enough to make her weak. More than her body, her heart was tired. She had been left behind by the people she once trusted. She did not know where she belonged anymore. The wind touched her face, and she opened her eyes just a little. The sky above her was wide and blue. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. Then she heard footsteps. The man who walked toward the stream was a Lakota chief. He was tall and strong, but his steps were slow and careful. He carried no weapon in his hands. He had come alone to walk and clear his thoughts. His people respected him, but they also knew he liked to be by himself. His past had taken much from him, and silence had become his closest friend. He stopped when he saw the girl. At first, he thought she was part of the land itself, like a fallen leaf or a shadow. Then he noticed her chest rising and falling. She was alive. He walked closer, careful not to scare her. When she opened her eyes fully, fear filled them. She tried to sit up, but her body was too weak. "Easy," the chief said in a low, calm voice. She did not answer. She only watched him, unsure if she should run or stay. The chief knelt down a few steps away. He did not touch her. He did not rush. He simply waited. "My name is White Sky," he said gently. "You are safe here." The girl swallowed.